schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers, visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. We've had a heat advisory the last 2 days in Toronto. The roof is open, and the Blue Jays are 13-5 when the roof is open this year. Here's the Royals lineup today. And no Kendrys Morales. Morales was scratched late. Some stiffness in his lower back, so Brett Eibner will bat 7th, and he'll be the designated hitter. And tonight the Royals will see 5'8", 180-pound right-hander Marcus Stroman.
He's a young man that has a big heart. Matter of fact, his slogan is "Height doesn't measure heart." He's a guy who's going to challenge hitters. You see the ERA, they've been getting to him pretty well. Hitters are hitting 277. We'll go to our Golden Oak lending keys of the game tonight. Left is right for Ian Kennedy. He's done a great job against left-handers. The lefties have only been just 2 for 22 in his last 2 starts. And Stroman, take a stroll on him. That's right, last 7 starts. He's got a 1-3 record with a 7.22 ERA, and opponents are hitting 344 off of him. Take a stroll and get him early. Get him on, get him over, and however you got to get him in. But when the Royals score first, they're 32-8.
Fastball at 93. Ball 1 to Alex Gordon. Alex has 5 hits on the trip, and he's walked 5 times. And he chops it out to Devin Travis at second base. 2 pitches and 1 out for Stroman.
Blue Jays on defense. How about their all-stars? Josh Donaldson, he's an all-star, and so is their first baseman, Encarnacion. Those 2 guys are power hitters that are pretty hot right now. Better be careful around them. Overall defensive, the Blue Jays are plus 12 defensive runs saved. That's 12th in the Major League Baseball.
Whit Merrifield takes a strike. Whit did not play last night. He's been held hitless in 2 straight games for the first time in his career. So he's been very consistent for the Royals. Ned Yost gave him a breather last night, and now he's 0-2 against Stroman.
Now what the Royals are going to see from Stroman is a fastball with some sinking action, 92 to 94. He's got mainly 2 seamers. He's got that slider you're seeing right there and a big curve. Works quickly. Cut fastball, slider curve, changeup. He's got the whole kitchen sink. But he's been leaving some pitches up. Not there. He got him on a good running 2-seam heater in. That was a surprise pitch there. It surprised him. Hitters, when they see that fastball rush up in on them, it tricks them, and they spin on it. It's a good pitch. But if he gets in a groove like R.A. Dickey did last night, as far as his tempo goes, Royals got to do something about that. And you can do that by stepping out of the box, calling time, disrupting his rhythm. That's going to be important. These fast workers like that, you've got to do something about it. You can't go on them. You can step out.
Another ground ball to second. Well, Stroman needs just 8 pitches to get to the Royals in the top of the first. coming into tonight, and when Ian Kennedy pitches following a Royals loss, the Royals are 4-2, and he needs to be the stopper again tonight.
I agree. He has the ability, especially if he's using all 4 areas of that strike zone with that fastball. That's his pitch. 233 average, opponent's average, not too bad. The home runs that he wants to hold those right there. He's on pace for giving up a career high. He doesn't want that. Keep it in the yard, work in all 4 pitches.
It's been a big offensive series for the Blue Jays. They've scored 14 runs in the first 2 games, and they hit 4 home runs last night, and they did all of that in the first 3 innings. Ezequiel Carrera hit one of the 4 home runs. Josh Donaldson, waiting on deck, hit 2 of the Blue Jays home runs last night. That's a foul ball. 0-2 on Ezequiel Carrera.
See where Josh Donaldson's standing in the on-deck circle. I mean, he's really close. So what he's doing, and he's eyeballing Kennedy. He's checking out his pitches. He's watching him. He's pretending like he's in that batter's box. He's timing him. He's not in the on-deck circle. He's in front of it and as close as he can to the plate. Now watch him. See, he's pretending he's hitting now. So you young hitters that are out there, pay attention to that pitcher. Watch him.
Curveball hangs outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boy, you got to be heads up if you're going to stand that close like Donaldson is.
I mean, you know, that's very dangerous. Just like that. I mean, you know, just all it takes is a little ball to hit that ray. Look at him. He's so close. He almost got the foul ball. So in a sense, he's already putting in his memory bank the pitches that he's seeing. Curveball down.
David Rackley, the umpire at third, says no swing. 2-2 on Carrera. Royals will successfully avoid Jose Bautista in this entire 3-game series. He's out with an injured toe. That breaking ball's in for a strike. So 3 straight curveballs after jumping ahead, and the third one's the charm.
Well, if he's mixing them up on Carrera, the leadoff hitter, he'll be doing the same thing here to Donaldson, last year's MVP. Good breaking ball in the outside corner.
He's a subject of our Kubota power stats. In his last 20 games, he's hitting .450, and he's driven in 28 runs.
Remember, he ambushed the first pitch of his at bat yesterday. He hit a homer on a slider, and then a second time up, he hit a homer off of Young again on the first pitch. So while he's in that on-deck circle, he's already making up his mind what he's going to do, his game plan.
2 balls, no strikes. First matchup between Donaldson and Kennedy. It's only the 2nd time in Ian Kennedy's career that he's faced the Blue Jays, and the first time was 9 years ago. Should be a nice advantage for Ian, at least first couple times through the order, because Troy Tulowitzki is the only Blue Jays hitter that's even faced Ian Kennedy before.
Donaldson has a lot of success because he's got a great eye. He works a hitter's count. He got what he wanted. He missed the fastball, but he was ahead 2-0. So he's got great plate discipline. He knows exactly what he wants to do and what area he's looking in the plate. Home runs come center field to left. Doesn't hit many to right field.
3-1. And Donaldson will take a walk, and he leads the league in that category.
.415 on base percentage. We showed you their All-Stars. We'll show you ours. Salvador Perez got more votes than any American League All-Star. Haas going to his first. Salvi his fourth. Congratulations, fellas. But before that, there's 5 more games to go before that break, before they get there, and they want to do the best that they can to try to get those hits when they can get them with runners in scoring position.
Strike 2, Encarnacion. The Royals woke up this morning and looked at the standings, and they're a season high 8 games out of first place. Now they've already come back from a 7-game deficit early in the season. They were 7 games behind Chicago, passed the White Sox, and were in first place for a while. Line to left center field. Gordon cuts it off, and Donaldson holds. So a long single for Encarnacion, and runners at first and second.
Curveball and stayed up. Saw it coming all the way. Now that ball hit to Alex's left. Donaldson, he thought that he wanted to go to third, but he remembered who had the ball. The guy who has the most outfield assists in baseball since 2003. Made a smart decision there. Alex would have gotten it.
Royals overshift to the right side against the left-hand hitting Michael Saunders. He's a candidate to join Ned Yost and the 2016 All-Star team. Ned finalized his roster yesterday, but then of course there's the 5 candidates that the fans can vote in, and Saunders' teammates all had to vote Saunders into the All-Star game t-shirts during batting practice today.
Yeah, they're pulling for him. You know, that's huge for teams and organizations to be able to get their guys there. The world watches that All-Star game. They want to have their players participate. The more the merrier. It was great last year to see all the Royals that were represented, especially with Ned Yost and his coaching staff. And it'll be the same way this year.
Ned Yost last year said that he had 3 goals aside from winning the World Series, and that was win the All-Star game, win the division, and get home field advantage in the playoffs. They might have had Donaldson, Salvador Perez, and Alcides Escobar. They had the right pitch, they had the right timing. It was just an offline throw, but Donaldson had a pretty big secondary lead.
Yeah, nice idea, and as an infielder, you love it when you have a catcher that can throw down there and try to pick guys off. Now that ball just sailed on him. Escobar did a nice job of just keeping it, knocking it down. But when you have when you're playing behind a guy like Salvi, you can put that pick on anytime you feel like that guy's getting a little bit too much, and pitchers appreciate that out behind him like that.
And now Russell Martin. Martin started game 1, and then Josh Tolley, R.A. Dickey's personal catcher, was back at the plate last night. Martin was 0 for 3 with a run scored on Monday. Breaking ball gets the bottom of the strike zone.
Good slider. You see Russell Martin hitting just .222 so far on the season, but he's a .317 hitter with a runner in scoring position.
Fastball at 93. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ian Kennedy struck out Saunders with a fastball, and no pitcher in Major League Baseball has more strikeouts with a 4-seam fastball than Ian Kennedy.
And that's a little bit surprising because he doesn't have the 96 to 97 mile an hour fastball. He does it with 90 to 93, but he also will. It's a sneaky pitch. I've had hitters tell me that he rushes them. and it's on them quicker than they think. And then, you know, when he shows them those secondary pitches, that helps as well. But that fastball, when he's putting it in his spots, they have a hard time picking it up.
Good spot. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There's just 4 pitches. Most pitchers all use the fastball to set up the other pitches.
Now his career average on a fastball is over 250, but this year it's under 200. Change up, and now full count, and the Blue Jays will have Donaldson and Encarnacion running. Troy Tulowitzki waits on deck. Tulowitzki has 37 career plate appearances against Kennedy.
You got to take your chances right here. You got to go after him, challenge him, make him put the ball in play.
Great spot. So another strikeout with a fastball for Kennedy. Russell Martin doesn't think so, and Kennedy gives up a couple of hits or a couple of base runners and strikes out the side.
They made him work, but Martin, you got to go.
That called third strike with home plate umpire Chris Guccione, which ended the bottom of the first inning. David Rackley is at third. The crew chief Larry Vanover is at second, and there's Alfonso Marquez at first base. He was the one that called out Wilmer Flores for the final out of last year's World Series with Wade Davis on the mound. Salvador Perez jumps on the first pitch and grounds out to Donaldson, and that makes Salvi 0 for his last 20.
Looked like that was a hittable pitch, though. The pitches he's been swinging at, he's back to swinging at those balls off the plate. He's going to have to discipline himself to lay off of them and get a couple of hits to get a little bit of mental confidence going.
Now Chesler Cuthbert. Chesler has hit in 5 straight. He has driven in 4 on this road trip. 1 ball, 1 strike, and aside from Kendrys Morales, and nobody compares to Morales the way he's going right now, but next to Kendrys Morales, this has been the Royals' most consistent hitter over the past week. 1-2.
He's controlling his swings. He's recognizing pitches. Talked to him today about his swing and the way he's going right now, and guess what he told me?
What did he tell you, Hud?
He's seeing the ball well.
And he's done if you've been watching the past few nights, we've been saying it over and over again, but he's been seeing so many pitches, and so often he's fallen behind in the count early, but you blink your eyes and then there he is at 3-2. On the ground to Tulowitzki, who throws on the run. 2 down.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Hot day in Toronto, a heat advisory the last 2 days, and now we have some overcast, so that's cooled things down some. There's a chance for thunderstorms later tonight. All Orlando hits it on the ground. 6 up, 6 down against Stroman, 5 outs on the ground.
Kennedy back out to the hill, and both of these teams sending 3 players to the All-Star game. Joel Goldberg down by the Royals dugout, and our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball looks at a very young infield for Ned Yost. Everyone, including the catcher, Salvi Perez, 26 years or younger, and the average age of the starters, if you don't include 40-year-old Big Papi David Ortiz, is under 25 years old. What a great sign for where baseball is at with its youth right now. Ryan and Hud, interesting talking to Dave Island, and you think about all the selections and the votes, but Dave has a very responsible, very busy job working with all those pitchers once he gets there, and he's been making a lot of phone calls. He had to call every pitching coach of any pitcher that they might be looking at to make sure, is this guy available? How long can he pitch? What are you looking for from him? If he's going on Saturday, would he be available on Monday? So that was part of the information gathering that he reported back to Ned Yost as they were working at building that pitching roster.
Well, whether you agree with the rule or not, this game does mean something, as Tulowitzki is down on strikes, and that's 4 already for Ian Kennedy. And the Royals last year had home field advantage in the World Series and took a 2-0 lead into New York because Ned Yost's American League team won the All-Star game.
Yeah, and you know, that's disrespectful of Dave Island to be able to call those pitching coaches, talk to them about each individual pitcher that's going to be in there. It's so important because the season for these teams is more important than one All-Star game. But if the pitcher's not used properly and he has a big workload leading into that, and then you could ruin him in that one game for the rest of the season.
Or if he's not going to be used at all, why select him?
Right.
0-2 on Kevin Pillar, and I think that's what Major League Baseball wanted to get away from. First of all the players that would decline playing in the All-Star game, and then having a collection of all-stars show up, and a significant percentage of them wouldn't even play. Fouled away by Pilar. Kennedy struck out Carrera, Saunders, and Martin in the first inning, and now Tulowitzki to begin the second. Changeup. So Ian Kennedy, it's early, but he has all 3 pitches working, and he has 5 strikeouts. Yeah, in an inning and 2/3.
He's aggressive. He's going to challenge hitters, and they know it. There's the grip. It's a field pitch, but when you've pitched as many years as Kennedy has, you're a veteran. You understand how important that pitch is to his fastball. That's one of the things that the hitters are saying. His fastball's sneaky. It's because he's able to work in that changeup and the slider and curve effectively. And then he picks his spots. When hitters think that he's throwing a secondary pitch, he surprises them, and it's a sneaky fastball right by him.
2 down to Junior Lake, who has come into the first 2 games defensively. Originally out of the Cubs organization, where he played for Dale Swaim when Dale was the manager of the Cubs. One ball, 1 strike.
He's a good talent. John Gibbons told me he was impressed with his throwing arm and his outfield ability, and the fact that he can hit left-handers. Now he's in there because he's 3 for 4 with 1 homer in his career off Kennedy. Great spot. That's right where you want to be. Didn't get the call. Could have. Kennedy kind of cocked his head sideways like thanks but no thanks.
Fastball by him at 2-2. Junior Lake first got to the big leagues in 2013, and when Theo Epstein, Cubs president, told Dale Swaim that Junior Lake was going to be called up, Theo famously said he's going to do things on the baseball field you've never seen before, both good and bad.
Oh, no. Whoa.
Kennedy's just missing. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
It tells you right there he's got a lot of talent, but he's got to harness it.
Reminds me of a young Carlos Gomez when he first played for Minnesota. Up the middle, Escobar cuts it off and throws in time. So Kennedy and Stroman have opened tonight with 2 scoreless innings as Kennedy talks over the strike zone with Chris Guccione. Now that we know most of the rosters, we remind you baseball's superstars come together for the primetime event that will light up the summer. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game from San Diego, July 12th, only on Fox. Marcus Stroman has set down the first 6 Royals. Brett Eibner, who's the DH tonight, leads off. And he knocks Russell Martin's mask right off of his head.
Good to see Eibner ready. Get that first good heater, good swing out of the way. Now he's in the game. He's DHing today, so he's sooner he can get that swing in and gauge his swing on Marcus Stroman's pitch, the better off he is. Been seeing a lot of fastballs, sliders combination. He will drop a few curveballs in early, but that's what he's looking to do. And he's very short with his delivery. Short little step sideways. Doesn't bring his hands over his head. He's made some adjustments on the mound, trying to simplify his mechanics. See a lot of pitchers, especially young pitchers, with this type of style of delivery.
Kind of has the same beginning to his pitching motion that Tim Lincecum does. Check swing, no swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Eibner only has 7 at-bats on this trip, losing playing time during the National League games, and Kendrys Morales playing in right. Fastball away, strikes him out, and that's Stroman's second. Beginning on August 5th, come out to Kauffman Stadium for the Baseball Hall of Fame Tour. We Are Baseball. It's a one-of-a-kind exhibit which features artifacts, images, never before seen video, virtual reality, and an IMAX movie. It runs through August 21st from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day in the Kauffman Stadium parking lot. Strike to Alcides Escobar. At the moment, Escobar has the longest streak of reaching base in the major leagues, 21 consecutive games, which is a career high for him. He lost a 14-game hitting streak during this road trip. One and two.
You know, I wanted for the players to get a couple of games on this new cut dirt infield, as it's always been artificial turf, the whole infield. And I talked to Escobar before the game, and he said that he likes it a lot better. That the hops aren't as true with the turf. You get better hops, but offensively the ball gets through. It's just faster.
Devin Travis makes the play, and I'd imagine they also like standing on the dirt for a 3-game series rather than standing on that spongy turf.
Yeah, and you know, you talked about the roof and how important it is for them to have it open, and their record 13-5 with it open, and when it's closed they're 9-14. But the issue they're having with the new dirt infield is that when the roof is open all day long, it bakes the dirt and it dries it out, and it makes it tough to field. It's too hot, a lot of bad hops, too many bounces, so they're keeping it closed as long as they possibly can for the infield dirt.
In a day like today.
Yeah. That's
sunny and hot.
We thought they were going to keep it closed for the whole night, but
there was a report early in the season last year that the Baltimore Orioles thought about forfeiting a game here because the turf was too spongy
and too slow. It slowed a lot of balls down. And that never was the case back in the 70s. That kind of turf was a lot different. It was a lot more compact. It didn't have the blades
like a billiards table.
Yeah.
Stroman's done it all. He's pitched 3 perfect innings. He struck out 2, and he makes a nice defensive play on the soft liner from Dyson. Royals baseball is brought to you by Chevy. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low prices every day. Devin Travis, Blue Jays number 9 hitter, leads off.
He's having a productive season. Nice complimentary player. Look at him. He doesn't even stride hardly. He just goes up on his toe. He's controlling his body. Not a big guy, but has a good bat speed to the zone. Stays in the middle of the field.
Kennedy ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's been ahead all night. Ian has already struck out 5. He struck out 8 on Friday at Philadelphia and 11 in the start before that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. All 8 of his strikeouts against the Phillies on Friday came with his fastball. Tonight he's been mixing it up. He's been getting strikeouts with his curveball and his change. Fastball over the outside. It's been a good strike zone for him. It's been a good strike zone for Stroman. 6 strikeouts for Kennedy. And that's the called third strike.
Yep, he is on the razor's edge. He's putting it on the corners and nice. Now, after he struck out, or after he got Junior Lake out in the second inning, he walked off the field, and him and home plate umpire Guccione had a little conversation. And you know, Kennedy is a good guy, and he just wanted to know if those pitches were off or what he needs to do to get it called. So worked it out. Looks like he's giving them to him now.
Ezekiel Carrera struck out looking in the first inning.
It's a lot about, you know, demeanor and how you talk to the umpire. They're human just like anybody else. If you say you missed, you know, if you say something like that, he's going to get a little defensive. But if you talk to him objectively and politely, you know, sometimes that works.
Shallow left. Alex hardly has to move. 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning as we take a look at tonight's University of Kansas hospital injury report, and some bad news in regard to Chris Medlin, who had to leave his last start in the middle of the start after 49 pitches with some discomfort in his right shoulder, which placed him on the disabled list almost 2 months ago. It was May 12th when he went down. So he has been called back from his rehab assignment and will be reevaluated by the Royals when they get home tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not good news. They were hoping they could get him back and put him in that rotation.
Josh Donaldson walked in the first inning. Royals protect the left side of the infield with 3 infielders, and that's where Donaldson hits it. Escobar to Hosmer. Ian Kennedy has matched Marcus Stroman with 3 scoreless innings. Playoffs last year, broke a stretch of 22 consecutive years missing the playoffs. That was the longest streak in the major leagues. Here's our sprint trivia question for tonight. Who is the oldest player to record a hit in the All-Star game?
Could be a tester there. I wonder how far back we're going to go.
Alex, for the second time tonight, grounds out to Travis at second base. Stroman's doing a really good job of keeping the ball down. There's only been 1 out. Well, technically 2, but really 1 out in the air. And that was a pop up to second base. Stroman also caught a line drive, but Royals are having a tough time elevating Marcus Stroman.
At 5'8", you would think that he has a difficult time with a downhill angle, because he's built low to the ground, but he's able to leverage and use that low height, but he's able to work the corners and find a way to create his own downhill angle. He's a competitor, tough kid mentally. He's got good stuff.
Not a bad idea. So I got a hint for our trivia question. If David Ortiz, who's 40, gets a hit this year, David Ortiz will not be the oldest.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question is somebody older than 40. Another ground ball, and another ground ball to Devin Travis. He's been busy tonight.
Stroman hasn't missed out over the plate or made any big mistakes. He's cruising.
Put your earplugs in, Hud.
All right.
Slider for a strike to Hosmer.
I'd like to hear that sound. So would Ned Yost.
Not that pitch.
Nope. And that's what got him out the first time. When he hit the little ground ball to the second baseman. A little bit anxious.
Four perfect innings with 3 strikeouts. No score. Well, we got a couple of guys on the mound tonight who've been very effective. Neither one is going to be making any basketball teams anytime soon, but Ian Kennedy, who's listed at 6 foot, and Marcus Stroman, who's at 5'8", off to good starts.
I like those kind of guys.
What was your official playing height?
5 feet 10 and a half.
5'10" and a half. So we've got a pitcher listed at 6 foot in Ian Kennedy. And we've got 5'10" and a half Jeff Montgomery up here in the booth, and 5'8" Marcus Stroman. Good breaking ball. Kennedy's really mixing in all of his pitches to the Blue Jays.
I was watching what he was doing earlier, and it reminded me a lot of what the last couple of nights I saw these Blue Jays very aggressive, and when the Royals pitchers would start them off with off pitches, it seemed like they had a lot more success, and I think maybe Ian Kennedy playing off that game plan.
He has struck out 6, and in typical Kennedy fashion, half have been called third strikes. Sometimes it's even more than half. Got away with a fastball there. Merrifield out in shallow center field. Kennedy set down the last 9.
Really looks like he's on the attack tonight. His primary pitch is his fastball, but he's doing a good job keeping it out of the middle. Outside of that one that right there, he just got away with one on Encarnacion.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're commanding your pitchers, you're going to get away with mistakes because they're looking for those pitches maybe on the outer part of the plate or on the edge of the plate, and you have more margin for error when you really have your command going.
Colonel Saunders. Michael Saunders struck out his first time up. He's one of the vote-in candidates. Captain Canada. Also a Canadian native. 2-0.
Left-handed batters haven't done much. Robert Kennedy last 2 starts is 2 for 22. Only got a couple of lefties in there.
Two and one.
Guys, one thing I've noticed about Kennedy now for this 3rd start in a row, we go back to the start 2 starts ago when he struck out 11. It seemed like he almost had like some renewed life and movement on that fastball, and as a result, he's got a lot more strikeouts.
3-1 on Saunders. Talked to Ian about that a couple of days ago, and he thinks because of the movement on his fastball that when it's down, hitters are expecting it to continue to go down, that it's going to sink out of the strike zone. That one did not sink, and Saunders hits it into the Royals bullpen. Number 16 for Saunders, and that's just 3 shy of his career high, and we haven't hit the All-Star break yet.
No, he's having a career season. He's on his way. Health is the most important thing. He missed almost all of last year, but he's able to pull his hands in on this inside heater. Caught it just right, pulled his hands in, and was able to barrel it. Wasn't right down the middle, it was on the inner half.
Just to finish the thought, Ian thinks that maybe hitters give up on his fastball sometimes because they think it's going to sink out of the strike zone, but that life you were talking about, that renewed life, Monty, that fastball has a little bit of zip.
Yeah, it has like a jump to it, and the thing is, if you watch him pitch, you think he's throwing 2-seam fastballs the majority of the time, but he doesn't even throw a 2-seam fastball. These are all 4-seam fastballs, which typically are a straighter pitch. It's going to be a pitch you're going to have better velocity, better command with, maybe not as much life, but Ian Kennedy gets tremendous life on his 4-seam fastball.
You know, on Russell Martin. Three and one. Martin struck out on a very similar pitch to that one, ending the 1st inning, and he and home plate umpire Chris Guccione didn't see eye to eye on that call. Right into Salvi's glove. Not Max Scherzer, not Justin Verlander, not Noah Syndergaard. Ian Kennedy has the most strikeouts with a 4-seam fastball in the major leagues. Still 3-2. And how many of those have been called 3rd strikes?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Obviously, the fastball is the pitch that as a pitcher you need to have that pitch. Unfortunately, that also is a pitch that's going to give you a higher tendency for the long ball. We've seen that be the case as well here tonight, and really for the course of the season for Ian Kennedy.
Broke his bat. Kennedy comes back from 3-0 and gets a ground out from Russell Martin. Well, this season at Kauffman Stadium, we start the weekends early because every Thursday home game is Buck Night. You can enjoy delicious hot dogs and peanuts for just $1 a piece every Thursday. And that includes tomorrow as the Royals are home for a 4-game series with the Mariners. So come on out, enjoy the Royals at home before the All-Star break, and enjoy Buck Night. 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com/promotions for tickets. Now Troy Tulowitzki with 2 down. Good spot. Fastball over the outside, and Kennedy struck out Tulowitzki in the 2nd. his stance isn't as open as Evan Longoria, but straight up high hand position. And they were teammates at Long Beach State. I'd just like to have Evan Longoria and Troy Tulowitzki on the left side of your infield in college.
What a lot they got through.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Since he's come back June 18th with his quadricep injury, he's kicked it in gear.
Strike 3 called on what else? A fastball. 7 for Kennedy. Michael Saunders homers. And at the end of 4, Toronto leads 1-0. Salvador Perez going to his 4th All-Star game. The 3rd year in a row he'll be the starter. He had the most votes of any major leaguer this year. He'll lead off the top of the 5th inning. The Royals are still in search of their first base runner against Marcus Stroman, who has done it with contact. He has struck out 3 in his 4 perfect innings. Seven outs have been on the ground, and he's kept his second baseman Devin Travis the busiest. Salvi grounded out to 3rd in the 2nd inning, and now hitless in his last 20 at bats.
Stroman's really fast with his arm swing coming out there, Monty. At his height, 5'8", you were 5'10". How is he creating an angle this downhill? Because he's in the lower part of that strike zone, and so far all night.
Well, the biggest key is, regardless of your height, you have to be able to get to the top or the apex of that arm swing, and when you're on, you're just as effective. Now, a guy like Stroman, in comparison, like say I'm going to use Randy Johnson as an example. Randy Johnson has a huge margin for error because he's got that built-in height advantage, but Stroman, and earlier in the year, he was, before he made the adjustments, he was really getting hit around, and that was the biggest thing he was doing, is he was getting on the side of the baseball, flattening out. And when you're a 5'8" guy, it's really like hitting batting practice. And he's changed his delivery a lot. He's really more now of a modified stretch, a little bit like David Price does, and some of the other guys, maybe Yordano Ventura. But he made some adjustments to allow him, Hud, to be able to get that arm back up to the very top to where he could pitch it downhill.
He sure is getting the Royals to swing, and they're hitting all ground balls.
He's done a good job of avoiding the middle of the plate. Everything has been down on the corners. Chesler grounded to short in the 2nd inning. Another ground ball to short. 9 outs on the ground. Have a thought, Monty, on our sprint trivia question? The oldest player to record a hit in the All-Star game.
Wow. I remember Julio Franco, who played till he was very old, getting a game-winning hit one year. But
that's a good guess.
I don't think that's probably it. I just remember he was late in the game. It might have been an extra inning game. He won a game. I think he got a hit off of Rob Dibble.
Minnie Minoso. Didn't he play till he was like 50? Like Julio Franco.
Julio Franco's actually still playing professional baseball.
Is he really?
I think in Mexico.
Well hit to center field, but right at Pilar. That's the best swing the Royals have had tonight. It's their first out to the outfield. And now Stroman has opened with 5 perfect innings.
Nothing, the Blue Jays leading, and last night we saw the major league debut of Brooks Pounders. Joel Goldberg right by the Royals dugout visiting with Brooks's dad Brad, and Brad got up wee hours of the morning from San Diego just to get here in time, and you saw your son make his major league debut. What was that experience like for you?
Joel, it was unbelievable. I first wasn't sure I was going to get here. I think I rolled into Toronto about 6 o'clock and took the greatest cab driver in the world got me here in an hour in rush hour, and I made it for the game. And then really didn't know if he was going to get in the game, but once he did, it was a great experience. Happy for him. He's been grinding for 7 years in the minor leagues, a couple of years filled with injuries, and for him to get his chance, it's been great.
And very similar to Whit Merrifield, and I know you've been hanging out here with his dad Bill. Both of you are great baseball players, great hitters, and another strikeout there for Ian Kennedy, but made it to AAA. Now to be able to watch your son, he's doing the same. What is that like?
It's way more stressful as a parent than it is a player. I mean, I never felt pressure when I played, but watching your son throw a baseball has been stressful. I don't care if it was Little League up to this point. It's been stressful to watch, but you know what? You just got to understand that they understand the game and they know the game, and they've been doing it their whole lives. And good things are going to happen and bad things are going to happen.
We got the base hit by Junior Lake up the middle, and he's going to be in with the double. So how does a big kid like Brooks, you're a big guy, but you were a power hitter. So how does a big guy like Brooks end up a pitcher and not a hitter?
Well, I'll be honest with you, he was a power hitter, third baseman in high school, and but he was also one of the better pitchers. So when it came down to the draft, that most of the clubs liked him as a pitcher better than a hitter. We're big guys and we're not too swift of foot, so we figured maybe it's a better move for him on the mound. But he can hit. He can still hit.
But you had 100 RBI seasons, back-to-back years with 30 homers, 100 RBI, and then after that, 27 home runs I saw for, at the time, the Wichita Pilots, Lawrence Dumont Stadium. So you played in Wichita for the Padres affiliate and had a couple guys by the name of Alomar as teammates, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Roberto and Sandy were my teammates for, I think, 3 or 4 years, coming up through every level of the minor leagues. And I was in Sandy's wedding, and Roberto and I played first base and second base consecutively for several years, but Roberto was the best baseball player I ever saw. Even when he was 16 years old, we knew he was something special. And Sandy, he uprooted Benito Santiago from behind the plate in San Diego, so he's pretty special too, and still pulling for him to get a managerial job soon. I know he's been in the game a long time. He deserves it.
And you got a call, was it yesterday, from a pretty famous reliever to congratulate you on Brooks's promotion?
Yeah, unbelievable. Brooks's agent called me, and he was out to dinner with Goose Gossage at the time that Brooks notified him that he was coming to the big leagues. And so Goose got on the phone with me, so we talked for a long time, caught up. I hadn't talked to Goose since probably 1989, 90, somewhere in there. But he was real supportive, and he said that he was real proud of the fact that at least one of us got there.
Congratulations on Brooks getting up here. We're excited to watch him pitch. And I'll go back up to you guys, because right now these seats are so tight that I think Brad and I, were both big guys. We feel like we're on one of those little tiny commuter planes wedged together for a nice little trip. Congratulations, Brad.
Thanks a lot, Joel. And let me tell you, there's a group in Temecula at Art's Garage that deserve a lot of credit for getting Brooks here. So they all know who they are. So I appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to going to Kansas City.
And he will be heading to Kansas City, as will his wife, to go watch Brooks at Kauffman Stadium. Guys.
All right, Joel, thank you. As Kennedy strikes out another hitter. That's 9. It's the first time in Ian's career that he's had 3 straight starts of at least 8 strikeouts.
And another fastball, nonetheless, climbing the ladder. That's what he's done so effectively. Get a lot of the strikeouts during the course of this year. Get in those maybe breaking ball counts, throws a fastball up in the strike zone. Hitters unable to catch up to it.
Now Ezekiel Carrera, and a fastball thrown by him. Carrera struck out in the first inning and flied to left in the third.
Alex Gordon, we all know he can throw guys out. He's got 4 assists on the season. Paulo in right's got 2. Dyson has 7 in center. Lake's a speedy runner. See how he times that just perfectly. And Monty, you ever notice he doesn't catch those? His hands are so good, he could catch him if he wanted to. He just keeps it in front of him.
Joel and I interviewed Sal before the game, and he had a little catcher's mitt. It's about half the size of a normal mitt. He told me he actually caught in spring training with that. That takes a pretty good hands itself.
It does. It looks like a little league catcher's glove for the littlest.
Almost
little
like
leaguers.
A little pancake.
Yeah. So he used that in spring training games. There's the one with the gold Rawlings label, which only the Gold Glovers can wear. And the label on the chest protector. Three and one with Donaldson on deck. So I'd imagine Carrera's going to get something to hit.
Right, you got an open base, but you got a MVP in the on deck circle. I take my chances here with Carrera.
Up the middle, and he got a pitch to hit, and he's going to drive in a run. Carrera comes through to get Junior Lake to the plate, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead in the 5th inning.
Well, with a .318 average, with runners in scoring position, Cabrera, he knows what to do. He's been consistent all year with that. He just stayed short. He knew he was going to get a fastball, and he was on it. He didn't miss it. Kennedy tried to keep it down, but he just hit the top half of the ball right back at Kennedy. Right between the wickets.
It's a byproduct of getting a fastball hitter and a fastball count.
So Donaldson with Carrera at first base. Donaldson has walked and grounded out to short. Fastball is too high. Donaldson leads the league in walks, and he's turned a lot of those walks into runs. He has scored 77 runs this year. That's the most in Blue Jays history before the All-Star break. So he's just not a slugger. He gets on base. If he's pitched around and lets Encarnacion, Bautista when he's healthy, Saunders, Martin, Tulowitzki drive him home.
You know, he's not a real speed guy, but he's a very instinctive base runner. Cuts the corners well and is aggressive.
2-1.
And Donaldson able to do so many things well. Obviously the MVP of the league last year. But I think the runs scored number really speaks for itself. I mean, that's what you win baseball games with, scoring runs. He's able to put up 77 already on the year.
Man, look at all that room on the right side. They're inviting him to hit it there.
Out to Dyson in center, and that'll do it. So the Blue Jays didn't need Donaldson. It was Junior Lake, the number 8 hitter, driven in by leadoff man Ezequiel Carrera, and Toronto leads 2-0. And Marcus Stroman has begun tonight with 5 perfect innings.
Yeah, he's been really remarkable with his abilities out here tonight to do a lot of things with the baseball, commanding all of his pitches very, very effectively.
Gene Krostowski is our Sonic Slam inning contestant from KCMO. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Gene wins $1,700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Gene wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Eibner almost drilled by the first pitch from Stroman. Stroman has struck out 3, and he's gotten 9 outs on the ground. Two balls and no strikes. Eibner struck out swinging at a fastball in the 3rd inning. That got Martin.
Could go back and take a look at some of Stroman's pitches and the locations he's able to establish. He's not only all down, but he's expanding his strike zone both sides. He's going up the ladder, really making it tough for hitters to zero in on anything, Hud. And I think that's really the thing that's made him as effective as he is. Perfect here into the 6th inning.
Well, you know, they faced him just twice in starts. Once was in the playoffs last year, a Game 3 start, where they were able to get to him and 11 hits off of him. 4 runs, but he's a little different pitcher now. He's a lot more compact, and his arm swing is so fast. The Royals are having a hard time picking it up out of his hand.
No doubt.
Tell you, the release point.
Full count on Eibner.
You know, that uppercut swing, I don't know if it's going to work, but try to just play a little pepper, try to put the ball in play, or he's going to continue his dominance.
There's the Royals' first runner. So Eibner down to first. Alcides Escobar comes up, and we'll show you a Mazda game break. This is Nick Castellanos with a 3-run home run and giving the Tigers an 8-2 lead at that point. It's now 12-2. The Tigers are 0-11 against the Indians this year. So Detroit picks up a game. 6.5 back of Cleveland, and the Royals at the moment are 7.5 back. Can make it 7 with a win tonight.
He hit a home run off of Tomlin like that, and he had a nice little inside-out swing, didn't he?
Yes.
Castellanos. There we go.
Escobar to the gap. That'll get Eibner to third. It'll get Eibner to the plate. And how far will Esky go? He's around second, on his way to third. And now a wild throw, and Stroman, who's a very good athlete, saved a second run. But the Royals are on the board, and they have the tying run at third base with nobody out.
There's a shortened up swing right to the point. I mean, that ball was hit perfectly in the gap. Pilar, a very speedy outfielder, had a long way to go. And Escobar, he wasn't stopping at second. The play's right in front of him. He doesn't need Jersley to check him out and make him come over. And then that play would have been in the dugout. He would have scored, but Stroman extended himself. And now, after you make the pitcher breathe heavy and back up a play like that, maybe that affects his rhythm even more. So the infielders are going to play in. And now let's see if he leaves a mistake out there for Gerard Dyson. Line right back up the box his last time up. That's the swing he wants here.
Stroman so far has not looked like a pitcher with an ERA over 5, but he's been pitching mostly tonight without any runners. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard shows you that he has really struggled once you get runners on base. There's a ground ball to Encarnacion right at the bag. So nobody on. We've seen what Stroman can do tonight, and he's done that most of this year. But you put a man on, he's a little worse. You put a man in scoring position, even worse, and he's at his absolute worst with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
That was unfortunate. Dyson hit the ball hard, but right at him. But Alex loved to come through here. Tie this game up with a sac fly or better.
Another ground ball. The bat reached the outfield, and that's the 3rd time tonight that Stroman has gotten Alex to ground out to the second baseman Travis.
Oh man, you know, and there's no way Escobar can score on that. Travis coming in on that play would have set his feet and threw him out. Better off taking your chances. But that is a jam sandwich if I've ever seen one.
Slider for a strike to Merrifield. He has struck out and grounded out so far tonight. So Stroman has struggled with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, and Merrifield has thrived with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Going to say went around.
I thought Stroman might show some effects of backing up and making a tremendous play and keeping that ball from getting into the dugout, breaking a sweat now, but he's coming back and really executed well on the Royals.
The Royals end the perfect game. They end the no-hitter. They end the shutout, but Stroman still struts off the mound with the momentum as the Royals left a second potential run at third base. Two-1 Toronto to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our Toyota League leaders. Salvador Perez, second best caught stealing percentage in the American League, 49%.
Not only
the Blue Jays are thinking about running tonight.
Not only does he have a cannon for an arm, but it's his quick release. It's from glove to hand. It's amazing how little time he takes to get that ball in scoring, in throwing position. And you know, his footwork doesn't always have to be there, but he has that release point down, and he puts it right on that first base side of second. And it makes it easier for the fielder to apply the tag. Beautiful to watch it.
1-2 on Encarnacion. James McCann, Tigers catcher, is the only one with a better caught stealing percentage than Salvador Perez.
You guys, so many of those numbers for the catcher's throwing percentage has to do with the pitchers and giving them not only a good pitch but a very quick release time in order to have the opportunity to throw out the base runner.
Ten strikeouts for Ian Kennedy. And they begin the process of closing the roof at Rogers Center. There's a chance for rain later tonight. All right, let's answer our sprint trivia question. The oldest player to record a hit in the All-Star game, it was that white banner there, 1991, when they played the All-Star game here in Toronto.
He was a catcher.
Carlton Fisk.
Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you for the hint.
Yep.
That may have been a farewell tour for Pudge.
43. He seems so old. when he was 43 years old. And I'm older than that.
Wow.
Maybe it's because he's a catcher and he's a big guy kind of moving around slowly, all the wear and tear on the knees.
What a career.
Saunders drove in the Blue Jays' first run with a home run to right in the 4th inning. And then in the 5th inning, with 2 outs, Carrera singled home Lake. Now 3 balls and no strikes on Saunders. Colonel Saunders killing fastballs constantly.
He got one earlier. He liked.
Three and one.
4th inning, hit his 16th homer of the year on the fastball. Pulled it.
And I was looking at the list of those players that he's competing against for that last slot. There's a lot of big name players, but he's got the entire country potentially to draw from.
That's well hit into center field. And Dyson has just enough room. Almost hit it to his own sign out there. Join us on July 25th for Christmas in July. You can add to your collection of festive attire with an exclusive ugly holiday sweater Royals t-shirt available with purchase of this theme ticket. And make sure to bring a new unwrapped toy for a special Toys for Tots drive on the day that'll be outside the ballpark. So July 25th, a t-shirt Tuesday, and the unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots. Royals.com/theme tickets. Russell Martin is 0 for 2. Fastball at the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Still having a hard time believing we couldn't get Escobar in with nobody out. We'll have to turn the page. Go back on the attack.
Well, the Royals are aggressive offensively, and yet there are times when the aggressiveness looks more like an anxious hitter than an aggressive hitter.
And those situations, I mean, Dyson did a good job. He got a pitch he could handle, hit it hard right at Encarnacion, but you know, Alex got jammed. Merrifield is struck out. Just think their focus might be a little more keen. However, it's easier for us up here in the booth than those guys down there trying to hit it.
And at the same time, when a guy like Stroman is pitching the way he's pitching, you got to find a way to do it.
You do.
You never know. I mean, that might be the only opportunity you have all night.
Right.
Luke Hochevar warms up behind Ian Kennedy, who's thrown 100 pitches. That's line to right field. Paulo Orlando got a good jump and made it look easy. 6 innings. Kennedy allows 2 runs. He has struck out 10. The Royals are down by 1. For a big chunk of the All-Star voting last year, Eric Hosmer was the top vote getter at his position. But in the end, he missed going to Cincinnati with many of his teammates. This year, he'll be the starter. Joining Salvador Perez, Kelvin Herrera, and Wade Davis. And he leads off the top of the 7th inning. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Outside, ball 1. Ian Kennedy, just over 100 pitches, is getting handshakes in the Royals dugout. So it appears we'll see Luke Hochevar in the bottom of the 7th inning. One ball, one strike. That was a good take by Hosmer because Stroman has really gotten him to chase pitches down and out of the strike zone.
And the other thing I noticed, he didn't stride hard with that lead foot. That's the whole key for Hos.
Travis can't make the play, and Hosmer begins the 7th inning with a single.
Now there's a good example of how quick the dirt infield is now this year. Last year, that ball would have bounced twice, slowed down, and would have been fielded by the fielder. This is what hitters are talking about. He hit 2 hops, 3 hops. By that time, it was already through the infield.
Yeah, when we were here in July of last year, it was amazing. This is like the slowest turf I'd ever seen. It was like you were playing on natural grass that hadn't been cut for 3 weeks.
Well, Ryan was talking about how, you know, that. Ooh, man, that's nice.
Donaldson, nice play.
Ryan was talking about how the Baltimore Orioles were, you know, talking about forfeiting the game even. But, you know, there had to be something done, so they went ahead and took the turf out of the infield and made it a real good-looking big league field now.
Now that's your buddy Buck Showalter. He wouldn't do something like that, would he?
Who knows? He's got a mind of his own.
Well, probably if anybody would, it would be Buck.
Right.
And I'm sure the Blue Jays thought, hey, if you want to forfeit a game, you go right ahead.
We'll take it.
Cuthbert has grounded out to short twice. And it's 0-2. Royals. Oh, there we go. Hey, Lobster Summer. Chester Cuthbert at the plate.
I told him that before the game, that the sign was up there. He got a big hit. He says he smiled. Shot. Oh, watch out.
Strike 3.
Didn't work.
And the bat was foul. Royals have scored 1 run in 7 innings against Marcus Stroman.
It's Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ian Kennedy is the subject we were hoping would be on our Miller Lite highlight, because that means he had a good outing, and he did. He was cruising. Gave up one solo home run, that's it. And had his pitches working. The fastball was working, his changeup, he had some sliders, but he attacked. I liked how he stayed on the corners. Fine job.
Luke Hochevar takes over in the bottom of the 7th inning to face Tulowitzki, Pilar, and Lake. A little easier situation for Hoch tonight compared to Monday, when he came on with the bases loaded and nobody out. Blue Jays scored 5 in that inning. 3 runs were charged to Edinson Volquez and 2 to Hochevar. Breaking ball just outside, 1-1 on Tulowitzki.
So it's a little bit of a bounce back opportunity here for Luke Hochevar, and that's one thing as a relief pitcher, you don't have to wait 5 days. You may get out there the next day, or now 2 days later, chance to redeem yourself.
That'll be backing out of play. It's raining.
I saw some drops.
Yeah.
Then we saw the players down there. They're all looking up at the sky in the Sky Dome.
I don't think many people brought umbrellas tonight.
I don't think so. There is. I see a few umbrellas. Just outside. Tulowitzki has already struck out twice tonight. I don't see a tarp anywhere. Curveball struck him out. Now Tulowitzki has the hat trick.
Yeah, Hochevar, he's got 3 very effective pitches when he's on. He's got a good cutter. I think that's big 12-6 breaking ball, well placed there. And he's got a 4-seam fastball at 95 plus.
There you go.
There's a few.
Yeah, you never know.
They read the forecast when they got to the ballpark.
They might have used that for shade, just walking to Sky Dome on a hot sunny day.
Yeah, what a contrast from earlier today when it was steamy and hot.
Base hit left field for Kevin Pilar. He had struck out in his first 2 at-bats. Takes a little over 20 minutes to close the roof here at Rogers Center. The first retractable roof stadium in Major League history. Told you last night that the Blue Jays, coming off a successful season last year, they are reaping the benefits with ticket sales. They're trending to go over 3 million in attendance. But in the glory years here, when this place opened up and the Blue Jays were good and going to the playoffs in '89, '91, winning the World Series in '92 and '93, they drew 4 million fans here for what, 3 consecutive seasons, I think.
Yeah, it was an amazing place to come play baseball. The crowd, even though a lot of the fans maybe don't know as much baseball as maybe say fans in the States, in Kansas City, for example, might know, they still get behind their team. They love the Blue Jays here.
They're on them heavy now too. Good crowds are getting. But you know, back in Olympic Stadium over in Montreal, they had a retractable roof, but it wasn't exactly a. It was state-of-the-art then, but it was on cables, and it was like a big parachute, and it would secure it, and then they could pull it up, and it would like a spider web, and it would pull up, and they'd sit it up at the top of the stadium. But everything had to go right, and it just didn't. So finally, they just said, we're just going to put it on and leave it on. Because I was there one time when they had a rain out in Montreal, and they couldn't get the roof down, and it just washed it the whole game away.
And that's when all those poor pigeons got trapped in Olympic Stadium.
Up in a spider web.
It's a three-piece roof here. You have two half shells, one behind home plate, one behind center field, and then the big center arching panel which connects the two half shells.
Pilar was out working on his jumps at first base today before the game. Salvi threw him out, and I admire that. He's an everyday player. Guy plays hard. He certainly has wear and tear on his body is a lot. But he's trying to improve. I don't think he's in any hurry to go right now.
Well, he's a type player that relies on speed to be successful, not only on the base paths, but getting jumps on baseballs and covering ground in center field.
He's got 7 steals this year. He's been caught 4 times. Lake's, he's battling Hoach here.
Still 0-2. Remember, you can follow the Royals live on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com at-bat app. You can stay up to the moment with game day, video highlights, StatCast, bilingual access, split views, radio broadcasts, news, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live Royals baseball. Slider away, a strikeout, and Pilar is back in time. So Hochevar has struck out 2, and now Hochevar and Kennedy have combined to strike out 12 Blue Jays hitters in fewer than 7 full innings.
There's again Salvi's transfer from glove to hand, just so quick. See how he stays up behind his ear when he throws and keeps the ball straight. Nice attempt.
Here's Devin Travis, who has struck out twice. Here's a trade that helped both teams. Last year, Blue Jays got Devin Travis from the Tigers. Tigers got Anthony Ghost from the Blue Jays. Although Travis missed a big chunk of the season with a shoulder injury.
That was a rare four-seam fastball that we've seen from Luke Hochevar. Haven't seen a lot of that from him. He throws that cut fastball so much nowadays.
I thought that was a cutter. It was 93.
Looked like the same pitch there again too.
Stayed with it.
Only 90. We say only 93, but didn't have that late cutting action. Timeout had been called. Was it by Alfonso Marquez? I didn't see the home plate umpire Chris Guccione throw his arms in the air.
Yeah, or hitter or catcher, so it's somebody over there at first base.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody either, so I was maybe thinking Hoach may have gotten away with one.
Two and two on Travis. Devin Travis was born with a shoulder that didn't fuse naturally and had to have surgery to repair that last year. Jeff Stevenson, who's One of the Blue Jays trainers, and was in the Royals organization for a long time, was explaining that when we're young, our shoulders just naturally fuse together as we grow and our bones grow, but for some reason that did not happen in Devin Travis's left shoulder. He played all through high school with it, played all through college with it, minor leagues, never bothered him, and then it flared up last year and they had to go in and correct it. And when he went on the disabled list, he was leading the Blue Jays in RBIs. That is an unhittable pitch.
Ooh, it's a beauty.
Hochevar strikes out the side. The Royals are down by 1 as we are now indoors at Rogers Center. Ball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Ready for a great deal on a new Ford? Then it's time to go to Thoroughbred Ford. Royals down by 1 coming up in the 8th inning. Paulo Orlando, Brett Eibner, and Alcides Escobar. We began with an outdoor game. We will finish with an indoor game. Marcus Stroman has given up 1 run, 2 hits in 7 innings. He has walked 1 hitter, and that walk turned into a run. The Royals' only run. Stroman began with 5 perfect innings, and then he walked Brett Eibner to begin the 6th inning. Alcides Escobar tripled to make it 2-1. And the Royals could not get Escobar home from third with nobody out. Stroman buckled down. He got Dyson on a ground ball, Gordon on a ground ball, and struck out Merrifield. And now Paulo's down, no balls, 2 strikes.
Stroman's pitch count, wow, really manageable. I mean, he's got enough in his tank to go the whole way.
Still 0-2. Well, I'm looking at my scorecard here and looking at hard hit balls. I've got 2. Paulo lining to center field in the 5th inning, and Escobar's triple. Maybe Dyson's ground ball to first in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he hit one back to the pitcher. Dyson did his first at bat. Stroman made a nice catch. So not much. Beginning of the season, he was supposed to be their ace.
Yeah, and he threw the ball well for the first part of the season, and he really hit the skids. I was talking with Jays analyst Pat Tabler yesterday about him, and he just said that he was almost going out there and feeling embarrassed when he pitched, so he had to make some adjustments, and sure enough, now we're seeing the benefits of those adjustments that he's made.
Yeah, just pounding the strike zone. Haven't seen too many big curveballs from him, but he's been throwing cutters, sliders, and changeups along with the fastball.
Blue Jays infield has been busy. Another ground ball out. So one down in the 8th inning. Let's go to Joel.
Well, guys, 2-1 here and around the rest of the league. Panera takes a look, and Detroit finally beats Cleveland. Oakland blanked by Minnesota, and Irvin Santana. Seattle shut out by Houston early on, and Chicago with the early lead in that one. Our Lee Summit Mazda game break. There's the 40-year-old Big Poppy David Ortiz. He'll be the old man on the All-Star team, and it's not just let's get him in for the last time. That's home run number 20 on the year. 3 RBI in the game so far, puts him at 69 RBI on the season. Big Poppy, what a final season.
And he says he's not changing his mind. This is it. And if he continues this pace, there's going to be a great discussion about the best final seasons in a big league career. Eibner, that's deep into left field. Brett Eibner ties the game with a home run. Brett Eibner has scored both runs tonight against Stroman. He got things started in the 6th inning with a walk, and his second big league home run ties the game in the 8th inning.
Oh man, that's a shot if I've ever seen one. That ball was out in 2 seconds.
Let's take another look with our AT&T high-speed replay.
Oh, that's just a right slightly above the belt. Might be the only mistake he's really made outside of the Escobar triple. That ball left in a hurry. Top spin on it. Sent one out there to the Jays bullpen. Oh man, was that a nice fresh swing. Look at how quick his bat speed was. And that's why he's in there. That's why he was in there last night against Dickey. His home run ability.
0-2 to Escobar.
Guys going into this inning, kind of getting late, down by a run. I'm not sure of Kendrys Morales' availability, but I'm thinking, well, maybe you'll have to bring the big boy in and try to pop one out. But sure enough, Eibner takes care of it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Well, Eibner has spent this entire trip coming off the bench, getting one at bat here and there as a pinch hitter against setup men and closers. So he gets a start, and after striking out, he gets a big walk and then a home run in his 3 plate appearances. Another ground ball to Devin Travis. 2 outs.
That is 13 ground ball outs versus no fly ball outs for Stroman tonight.
He's done an incredible job. He's getting an aggressive Royals offense, swinging early in counts. That's why his pitch count is just now at 80.
Take a look at Stroman's out distribution tonight.
Well, technically 3, 2 of those on the infield.
Right. Soft liners. A lot of ground outs. Taking advantage of that defense.
Dyson hit a soft liner back to Stroman in the 3rd inning and then grounded out to first in the 6th. That was with the infield in and Escobar at 3rd base and nobody out. So that takes some of the sting away from that. Royals are batting with 2 down in the 8th inning, and they've had 4 runners all night. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And technically they've had 3 runners because Eibner circled the bases. He never was on base.
And the outfield really shallow on Gerard Dyson. They're trying to prevent any kind of a doinkers or anything. You see center fielder Pilar, he's way in.
Oh, just foul. 6 strikeouts. Very impressive for Marcus Stroman. However, Brett Eidner with 1 out in the 8th inning ties it with a line drive home run to left field. Kelvin Herrera goes to the All-Star game for a 2nd straight season. He was a manager's pick and very deserving. And he might be picking up some saves here in the near future with Wade Davis on the disabled list. His job tonight is to hold the Blue Jays at 2. Ed Yost said he would mix and match. He didn't want to come up with any set roles with Davis on the DL. But here you have the dangerous hitters coming up for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 8th inning in a tie. Top of the order, Carrera, Donaldson, Encarnacion if anybody gets on Saunders. And I think you want your best guy out there with the best hitters coming up.
That's right.
Your best available guy.
And he's all-star worthy. Opponents, they're not hitting anything off of Herrera. Just a 187 average. Above average fastball. He'll go 95 to 98, 88 mile-an-hour changeup and a slider that's really been effective this season for him.
One and two. Carrera drove in the Blue Jays' 2nd run with a 2-out single against Kennedy in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3. Blue Jays' other run was a home run from Michael Saunders. This is Herrera's first appearance in this series. Slider struck him out looking. 14 strikeouts for Royals pitchers tonight.
Fantastic breaker. He's going to get that ball. Starts up and ended up right there where he wants it. Nice depth, and it throws you off when you know that Herrera's got that fastball. You got to look for that and his changeup, and then now that 3rd pitch has been a really a nice diversion from the other 2 pitches for him. Going right after Donaldson. That was at 99 with some boring in action.
0 for 4 against Herrera. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk.
That heater had some hair on it.
Out in front of a slider. 0-2.
Got him off balance. Infield defense not pulled over as much as they were earlier off of Kennedy. With the velocity on Herrera's fastball, a lot of hitters going to be behind it.
Three straight sliders to put away Donaldson. 2 down in the 8th inning.
Oh man, Donaldson, he was hacking, but Herrera makes it tough when you're looking for that heater and you're geared up for it, and then he pulls that string on that newly developed slider. He's been working on it for a couple of seasons, but this year he's really brought it in consistently. And if you're any manager for the All-Star team and you got a lead late, you want this guy to be in one of those guys at the back end.
Inside with that slider. Royals pitchers have struck out 15 Blue Jays hitters tonight. That's the most strikeouts for the Royals pitching staff in a 9-inning game this year. Changeup. That's a dangerous spot with a changeup. Encarnacion has 1 hit against Herrera, and it was a home run. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a single.
Hitter of his caliber, if you guess right and you get your pitch, he knows what to do with it. It's a short, compact swing. Slightly open stance. Allows him to clear his hips, get the hips open by starting that way.
Now, how badly do you want to pitch to him here?
Well, if you do this, how about a slider off the plate?
Or 98 at the knees.
Yeah.
Saunders is on deck. He homered in the 4th inning and has 16 this year. Encarnacion has 22. Up the line, not a fast runner. He makes a turn at first, and he'll beat the throw with a double.
That's the one thing, you know, when you're a hitter looking for a fastball and he throws you the slider, you can see it's sometimes a speed the hitter's bat up, and that's exactly what he did. He stayed on it. You could tell it stung that top hand, but he was able to put enough on it to get that double. It's 22nd. Saunders, a .246 hitter with runners in scoring position. Hasn't had any success off Herrera.
Changeup is outside. Saunders is 1 for 3 with a 4th inning home run tonight. That's Roberto Osuna in the Blue Jays bullpen. The Royals have the top of the order in the 9th inning. Back-to-back changeups.
Herrera having some difficulty with his landing foot, the grip there. He's been making some adjustments on that mound. Not very comfortable.
Into center field. Dyson gets a big hop. Encarnacion to the plate, and the throw is way offline. The Blue Jays, with 2 outs and nobody on base, get a double and a single and regain the lead.
And it's 2-0. He worked a good count, and he got him a fastball that was out over the plate. Gerard gets it on a hop, had a perfect ball to throw on him, and just missed way off the mark. Well, Saunders doing all he can do right now to get that final vote for the All-Star game, especially since his teammates and everybody was pulling for him before the game, wearing T-shirts and everything, and like Dyson would like to have that throwback.
That's a fair ball. And Russell Martin goes diving into second base with an RBI double.
Wow, I mean, he just sliced that ball right by the over the bag. There it is. Herrera just having some issues with the mound for some reason. I don't know if it's. Obviously, he's been working on his landing foot there. The dirt there, he's just not comfortable. You can tell. Blue Jays capitalizing.
Well, he struck out Herrera. He struck out Donaldson. Stroman appears to be done for the night. But then Encarnacion got ahead in the count and doubled up the left field line. Saunders singles at home, and then Martin doubles in Saunders. Back to the slider, cut on and missed. Tulowitzki struck out twice against Kennedy and once against Hochevar.
He's trying to give Tulo the golden sombrero. He's punched out 3 times already.
And he does strike out 4 times. Herrera strikes out the side, but Blue Jays get 3 consecutive 2-out hits and lead by 2 to the 9th inning. Until the All-Star break, and the Seattle Mariners will be in town for a 4-game series beginning tomorrow night, which is Buck Night. Danny Duffy will take the mound in game 1 against lefty James Paxton. Tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday late afternoon, and then Sunday early afternoon to wrap up the first half. Justin Smoke takes over at first base for Edwin Encarnacion. Boulevard Royals Live coming up after the game. Here's Roberto Osuna. 16 out of 18 in save opportunities. And he'll get Gordon, Merrifield, and Hosmer.
He's got a big arm, no doubt about it. His mid-90s fastball, slider, and a changeup. 6'2", 230.
Two balls and no strikes.
Happy to see somebody else besides Marcus Stroman, who just really baffled Royals hitters.
You got Alex to ground out to second base 3 times. Well, as you remember, the Royals had so many late inning rallies in the postseason, and the Blue Jays haven't forgotten that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Blue Jays bullpen ERA against the Royals in the American League Championship Series was over 9. The Royals bullpen ERA was about 2.5. Donaldson near the line. 1 down in the 9th inning. Remember, if you can't watch the games on TV, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Royals wherever you go. One down to Whit Merrifield. Royals have some hitters that need to break out of some slumps. Whit is 0 for 3 tonight and 0 for his last 13. Salvador Perez is 0 for 3 tonight and 0 for his last 22. That's a career high. And Paulo Orlando is 0 for 3 tonight and 0 for his last 16.
Yeah.
2 balls, 1 strike.
It's bound to happen. You know, you could tell in the first game up here in Toronto with Aaron Sanchez was on his game. Whit just looked like he was confused and was guessing. And it's going to happen. That's how hard this game is every night.
Pretty good swing there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The good news is that's a long time for these guys to not have any hits, so they're going to happen. Hopefully they'll start it at home.
9 pitches, all 95 or faster from Osuna. Off speed, tough hop. Tulowitzki, backhand play, and throws out Merrifield.
Wow, he made that look easy. That is a tough pickup, first of all, and then to throw in the next step, an accurate underarm throw from down to the side. Perfect throw. That's another. That's a beauty, especially with the speedy runner. So he did Merrifield a favor by throwing him a breaking ball. He almost.
Royals are still breathing. Eric Hosmer thought about digging for 2. The Royals don't need that down by 2. What they need is the tying run to come to the plate. Eric Hosmer has a 2-hit game. And now a man who is due. Salvador Perez, 0 for 3. 0 for his last 22. First time in his career He's had a stretch where he's been 0 for 22.
Let's look for the fastball. Stay short.
Throw it again.
Slider.
In on his hands.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Tough spot.
Osuna gets the job done, and the Blue Jays sweep the Royals at Rogers Center. Ouch. Now the Royals have lost 8 of their last 9 regular season games here, and if you include the postseason, they've lost 10 of their last 12 here in Toronto. Final score 4-2. We'll be right back.